The Quick Snap is presented by FWF, dependable solutions for the pros since 1866.
Welcome back to episode 10 of the Quick Snap podcast. Post trade deadline. Do we have any news? Yeah, we do.
No news.
No. Brendan Rice, Jerry Rice's son.
Hold on, but did we trade for him?
No,
or did
we signed him to the practice
that's not
squad.
news. That happens every week.
At least it was a transaction. I mean,
it wasn't a trade.
I'm watching the Jets with the fire sale. They're trading Sauce Gardner. They're trading Quinnen Williams, what was your response when I said that one?
I would be throwing a party. If I was still playing, I'm still thinking about throwing a party, and I'm not even playing. That dude's a problem. He's a really good player.
The Cowboys making moves after they lost on Monday night.
That trade doesn't make sense to me if I'm the Cowboys.
I think they made the trade before the game. It just came out today.
Take away the loss on Monday. The fact that you had the best defensive player in the league, traded him away, and then just traded to get a great D tackle. Look, D tackles are great, but you had to. If I'm the Cowboys, I'm looking at my secondary and being like, all right, well, let's go get I don't know. To me, it just that didn't make sense. But that's Jerry's world. Jerry's world, and just chalk it up to that. I really wish Jerry Jones would get this YouTube TV. I thought maybe by Monday night.
Oh, is that what you use?
I spent 50 minutes trying to figure this out last night.
I turned on.
Does no one have normal cable anymore as a backup?
So let me. This is where I was. I was a big cable guy.
Yeah.
All in on cable, and I had YouTube TV at my farm. But then when we moved, I was like, all right, I'm not paying for both. I want to get you, and I wasn't playing, so I was like, I want YouTube TV for the
Sunday ticket.
Yeah.
In the red zone. Yeah.
Yeah. So I did that, and I was seeing all these commercials, and then I figured it out Saturday, when I couldn't figure out how to get ESPN. And since I am a slave to technology and I just paid for $200 to Disney after spending God knows how much down there with my family.
So you were able to watch the game?
I did the exact same thing, David. I spent 45 minutes, then I did the fee.
Okay, I don't know if it was my internet last night, but I was watching Countdown, and they were their lips were messed up. Was that happening to you, Danny?
I don't know. I don't know. I was too flustered by trying to figure it all out.
It was driving me insane. I'm tired. And then when you're on these streaming services, you can't flip in between anything else. I'm a slave to it.
Whole new world.
But
so you were able to see Jacoby ball out, though?
Jacoby did look good. And I don't know if Kyler, I was listening to the radio today, they're sticking with Jacoby.
They did come out and say they're going to stick with
Does that mean
Jacoby.
Kyler Murray is healthy? Or I don't understand that.
I have a question, though. Let's not talk about Kyler Murray. Let's talk about, the Patriots offense last year. What does that say about the Patriots last year where Jacoby Brissett looks great in these last 3 games in Arizona? And what does that say about us last year?
Yeah, look, I think, David, you were there at the beginning while Jacoby was playing. I know Jacoby very personally. That's like Garrett, who's in the booth with you here as we record post trade deadline.
G-Money.
After football practice.
He's nervous to come in the camera.
He's nervous.
Does Zavarian make any trades today, G?
Come on, G.
Come on, dude.
He's too nervous. He's too nervous.
You guys didn't trade for a receiver?
That's like Garrett's uncle. And so, it was tough to see him go through what he went through last year, but I love to see him bounce back. And honestly, not just last night, the last few games he's been balling out, they just weren't able to win. But, I mean, from your perspective, having been there with him, what does that say about what happened here last year?
Well, look, I mean, okay, you could say that about Jacoby. Look at Drake.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. So it's a whole new team, better talent, I would say better offensive coaching. So you could do it with both guys.
Yeah.
It's not just a Jacoby thing. We'll get into it, Drake's performance again, but, it's both guys are excelling, one at the same place, one not. So, I don't think it's like a him versus him.
No,
obviously,
I'm not saying that.
Drake, I know, but you can see it. It wasn't like Drake came in and we became a 10-time better football team, So
Sure.
There's a lot that goes into football. It is not. It's why it's the greatest team game.
Getting back to, like I said, post-trade deadline, Patriots kind of hold pat, no pun intended. They didn't really make any moves. There was some reports out there. They were interested in some of the Titans players. The Titans owner
That's messy.
Didn't want to send any players to the Patriots because she's still a little butthurt from the Vrabel situation. And then the other players I think that they were interested in getting were either from the Jets or the Dolphins, whether it be Minkah Fitzpatrick, whether it be Breece Hall, whether it be Jalen Phillips, which I don't know how Roseman keeps doing this. It's incredible. I mean, what he's done for the Philadelphia Eagles. But, it was going to be a premium for the Patriots to trade for someone within the division. So the fan in me and the media person in me, I was hoping they'd be one of those teams to make a splashy move. But when I really look at it, we've been so happy with this team. The only thing that I thought was the injuries in the running back room. You need a little depth there. Do you really want to put, and Travion Henderson's coming along. I thought he had another good day the other day, but do you want to put that load on him as a rookie? Yeah. Could you go and get a Breece Hall? Could you go and get a Pollard from the Titans? But I think it's a statement to the team that we're all we need, and we believe in who we have here. And so I'm not going to make anything too big out of it. I think they would have probably liked to do something. It didn't work out, and now you still have that capital in the draft for next year.
Well, I'll say this to one of your points, the Howie Roseman point. When you look at the Eagles, right, I think Howie's done a great job building that team through the draft, first off, right? A lot of their offensive linemen, quarterback, a lot of their defensive guys have been guys they've drafted, tight ends, Devontae Smith.
Yep.
And then what does he do? He goes and adds through the trades and free agency, right? A.J. Brown, Saquon, Hassan Reddick a few years ago. But he's hit on a lot of draft picks. Mm-hmm. So I think when you do that and build through the draft, you're more willing to sacrifice draft picks, where you're saying, hey, if we usually get 7 draft picks, I'll take 4 because we're going to be really good at these 4 picks. Personally, I don't know, but that's just how I feel. And then when you look at the Patriots, I'm happy with where the team's at right now. I think they do have a plan to build through the draft. I think that's how you have to build a football team. Building a team through free agency, I've never been a big fan of. They did it this year out of a necessity, I believe. I think free agency is great for getting 1 to 3 pieces in reality, right? And look, Stephon Diggs has been a hit. Carlton Davis hasn't been bad. You had to get a Morgan Moses type guy. Got him, signed Bradbury. Harold Landry's been great. Milt Williams has been great. Spillane's been great. So they had to do that. Mac Hollins. Let's not forget Mac. They had
unsung hero.
Yeah, they had to do that this year, I think, to get the team where it needed to be. I would rather them have their draft capital, personally, for a couple of reasons. One, I don't know how big of does Breece Hall make this team some type of Super Bowl contender? I don't think so.
Well, and to your point, is there any players out there other than Myles Garrett?
No.
To me,
it's really like Myles Garrett.
It's someone who is either going to touch the football and score touchdowns for you, or is going to get after the passer.
Yeah.
Like that. Like, to me, that's the only 2 people or positions that can really come in mid-season and have that type of.
I agree. So, I'm more content with them keeping draft capital, not overpaying for somebody that's not going to drastically change what's going on right now. And who knows? Maybe there's something coming down the line in the offseason with the guy Myles Garrett or Henderson or A.J. Brown. There could be something coming, but right now, as a fan, I understand you want to see that, but also I wouldn't want them to overpay for anything right now.
I agree. Look, I think, listening to the media around here, people are mad because I think there is almost this expectation, you're ahead of schedule, go out and get something that's going to help you get there. I don't think if you're an organization that has a level head about you, you don't change your path, right?
I agree.
You have a plan, and whether you thought you were going to be 7-2 or not, that's what your plan is. And I'm sure they inquired, but they didn't overpay. They feel confident in the guys they have, and the reality is, and I don't know this, I'm just going off the top of my head. When's the last time a team traded for someone before the trade deadline that really had a lasting effect on that season that helped them win a Super Bowl? I can't think of one in recent years. Danny, any idea?
No idea. I'd have to give that some thought. But I mean, the only part here where I think that they should have made a move is like next year's schedule is going to get really, really hard, and your window to like maximize taking advantage of the schedule, go get that first seed in the AFC is like right now.
When also too, like your record is going to be good. That pick's going to be later in that first round, second, like that you could be to the point where now you're drafting every year in the 20s and
yeah, I mean, and
30s.
hopefully that's the case.
Yeah,
but the thing is, you got to hit on these draft picks, and right now, look, like we'll see what Kyle Williams turns into, right? Like, I would say he's been the most disappointing one. I think, Henderson's coming around. Will Campbell's been great, I think. So I would like to see them build through the draft because, I really think that's the big key to building a football team. But enough of that talk. It's come and gone. Let's get into the game, Hoy. What's your thoughts?
I mean, look, sometimes you got to win ugly, right? And I would say that's what it was. And it didn't have to be that way. I felt like, before halftime, they got the ball back. They're going on this 2-minute drive. They start with the draw, get the clock going, get them set in their 2-minute.
Classic.
Get them set in their 2-minute defense, right? Get the Falcons. And that was always a big thing Josh would talk about. Look, you want to get the defense into their 2-minute mode. You don't want to go out there throwing an incomplete pass. Now they get to huddle back up, call a blitz. Yeah, do whatever you want.
Especially this defense.
Right, so a lot of times it'd start with something like a draw or a quick pass, get them in that rhythm, get on the ball. Now all of a sudden you limit their defensive package, which they are able to do, complete a few passes, and now all of a sudden, here comes the TE. They're not able to handle it on the right side. Drake's a little careless with the ball. He talked about it after the game. He's like, I gotta understand I can't stiff arm defensive ends in the pocket, right?
Free rushers. And I love him for it, that he has the strength and the ability to think that he can do that, but he's learning, and he hasn't had to play like that in a while. But, that really changed the tide. And then they come out in the second half. They didn't look as polished as what we've seen. Obviously, throws the interception, which, I told people I would go over. They started with a fumble, too.
They did. Literally, he just went to go in and hit it off of
literally
his
the
leg.
next drive.
Then there was the interception. The defense kind of let the Falcons hang around. Couldn't really cover Drake London, which I don't know about you, but I'm looking at the TV. I'm like, can we just put Gonzalez on him and just like a little more man coverage and just match Gonzalez with Drake London. But they got the job done. And I think you would agree with me, like as a team that's gelling, coming together, you got to win some of those games to understand you didn't play your best football, but you overcame some of those things and you walk away with the win. And Vrabel, I think, is handling it a great way. He's like, look, no one's going to steal your joy. It's hard as hell to win a game in the NFL. You're going to enjoy it. Look, I'll be there tomorrow morning to point out where we need to make the corrections, but enjoy a win, and it's better to be learning when you're winning than learning when you're losing.
Yeah, to me, the most important thing that happened Sunday is they won the football game.
Of course.
Like, it doesn't matter if this team goes to the divisional round and lose or win, or the wild card, win or lose, however it goes. We're not going to say they lost that divisional round or wild card playoff game because of this Falcons win. You're not going to say that. Mm-hmm. Like, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Like, that win, it's over with. You're on to the next. Now, I thought the good in the game, they started fast.
Yeah.
And on both sides of the ball. Like, defense goes out there, 3 and out. Offense takes the ball. Great opening drive, 7 points. It was a dominant first half for 28 minutes and about 30 seconds, or 29 minutes and 30 seconds, because I think it was 30 seconds left in the half. So it was a dominant half of football that really and it's one thing with this team, I think we were talking about it last week, how well they kind of have the next play mentality, right? Like, we just haven't seen them, like, something bad happen, they get down, whatever it may be, and it's just kind of like water on a duck's back. It rolls off. This week, that stuff kind of snowballed on him a little bit, in the second half. And
that's when you saw Vrabel go over to Drake on the sideline, which I loved. I mean, here's your head coach. Your young quarterback has been playing at an MVP level. He's had a few bad plays. Go over there, put your hand on his shoulder, tell him, look, you got this. You're good.
Fine.
Don't worry about it. And the thing you love about Drake is it doesn't seem to affect him.
No.
I mean, I think you see that with Vrabel because this is kind of one of those things you expect from a 23-year-old second-year quarterback. We just haven't seen it a lot.
Yeah.
And I think that's why people were so, like, up in arms, like, oh, he didn't play a great game. Look, he completed 19 to 29 for 259 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he had 102 passer rating. Like, if that's a bad day at the office for Drake Maye, we're going to be just fine.
Yeah, I think talking about Drake, the interception wasn't a concern for me. It happens. It's the NFL. And it hasn't been a problem. Like, that was his third, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So third in 9 games is pretty good.
Yeah.
4th interception.
Fourth, was it? I thought he only had 2. 4th interception. Still, it doesn't really change the stat or how I feel about it that much. To me, it was the fumbles because the first one, that it could have been a worse play. Obviously, with a touchdown, they still scored. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Will Campbell on that. The effort he showed, that was huge, and I love seeing that. Obviously they got points off of it, but it could be a huge swing. Yeah,
if they score a touchdown there, maybe that's what they need.
Yeah, it could have been a huge swing. If he he did tackle him, but the defense stops him. Yep. The game changes. So, but that one and then the next, those were the ones because I think he's corrected a lot of the careless throws part of his game, and it looked like he was turning the tide with some of that stuff, and he regressed a little bit. I don't think that's going to be another major problem. I will say my one concerning thing right now is the quarterback's getting hit too much. I think we're second sacks allowed.
Most in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Did you see what Bradbury said about this? He said, look, it makes us sick as offensive linemen to see the quarterback get hit. And he goes, it's not all our fault. It's not all Drake's fault. It's all of our fault. And I think that was a very good way to put it because there's some sacks where I look and I think Drake – now, I'll say this. Atlanta did a very good job of what I would say contain rushing.
Well, that was what I wanted to get into.
Yeah.
Because that I do think Drake owns some of it, right? I do think – it's always interesting, right? Because I would never come to the quarterbacks and be like, you got to throw the ball.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes on film, watching Monday, you'd be sitting there and you're like, yeah, well, that's our bad boys, but help us out a little bit here, babe. But I will say Atlanta, what I found really interesting about Atlanta's game plan and how they attacked this game, they had a great rush plan. And I don't think a lot of teams can copy it because it's one of the best secondaries in the league right now. They did a lot of 5-man rushes when I was watching it. And so for 5-man rushes, really, it's going to make you lighter in the back end, right? Mm-hmm. Which, with the way the Patriots are passing the football right now, a lot of teams aren't going to feel comfortable doing that. But Atlanta did because of their coverage unit. And when you do that, now it is easier to contain the quarterback. And there was a couple of sacks where, sure, the pocket wasn't really the only sack where it was a free rusher was the strip sack.
Yeah. Yep.
It was a TE on the right side. They didn't get it past. It was a free rusher. The rest were, the pocket's just collapsing and he's trying to step up. But when the 5 guys are rushing and they have good rush lanes, there's nowhere for a quarterback to go. I mean, you know that. It's hard.
Yeah.
And so they had a really, really good game plan, rush plan, and were able to execute it due to their good secondary play, I believe.
Yeah, and there were some great pockets, like the first touchdown to Pop, which, by the way, Josh McDaniels special right there. Get in 21 personnel. So the defense sees the fullback in the game, the tight end in the game. They think, it's going to be, I formation, something like that. All of a sudden, you're in gun trips with the fullback all the way outside. Oh. Pop is in the backfield. Travion Henderson's in the slot. And they alerted to that play, so they clearly had some type of tell or some type of advantage that they saw. And sure enough, here it is, and it's Pop Douglas on a peeling defensive end.
That's all about mismatches, right?
And getting to that through personnel groupings, right? So getting the defense into a base defense where they're more limited, you know what they're going to do based on how they align to that formation. And it was a great play call, a great execution by the players, and a great pocket. There was one, he stepped up and threw a sail route to Diggs. It was a beautiful throw on third down, probably the throw of the game, to be honest with you. Great pocket. And so it's just got to be more consistent. But I think you're right. The way they rushed him was more Like, be disciplined and crush the pocket. Don't let him have, because he has done a good job stepping up this year and finding those lanes to pull the ball down. Those weren't really there on Sunday.
No, and that's due to the 5-man. And like I said, to me it looked like, I don't want to say something that I'm not correct. I don't play quarterback, but it's hard when people aren't open due to that, right?
Yeah, especially like your first, second read.
Yeah.
Like if you go, and even if they have that great rush and your first read's there, the ball's out.
Yeah.
Even sometimes the second read, especially if it's on the same side of the field. But when you kind of contain rush and push the middle of the pocket and there's nowhere for you to go as a quarterback, you kind of just run out of room. And that's what a lot of those sacks were like Drake would pat the ball to throw, wasn't there. And all of a sudden they were just on him. It wasn't like he was getting teed off on him with a free rusher. It was the line kind of holding up, getting pushed back. And I think you hit on it, like those 5-man rushes, it's 5 singles now, right? Like that's the hard part. And so you got to fight for your life up there up front, trying to hold that stout pocket, and you don't have help from a guard or a tackle or anything like that.
Hoy, is there one thing in practice though that like Drake and the coaching staff can do to help avoid these sacks more often?
The one thing that I would say, and we used to do this a lot with Josh, I don't know if you remember watching this, we would do what we call the gauntlet drill. So we would drop back and all the quarterbacks and the coaches would line up and we'd try to swipe at the ball, try to punch the ball out as they're dropping, doing their drills. And I would say the one thing with Drake, like in the strip sack, when you're an athletic quarterback, you want to move athletically. You don't want to keep 2 hands on the football, right? Because it's awkward to run like this. And so sometimes you go to separate to either like he was trying to stiff arm or you try to make a move and the ball gets out here. It's where it's loose. And so a lot of the times in the pocket, we would be taught, and I know people aren't always watching this, but when you move, you almost want to bring your ball to the chest. That way it's pinned. If someone goes to hit it, like I've had the ball like this before up against my chest, someone hits it, but at least it hits my chest and I can fall on it and collapse on it. And so, when you're an athletic quarterback, you're moving more athletically than I ever was, and the ball gets away from your body, and that's usually when it gets knocked out. So I'm sure they're doing the gauntlet drills. They get the foam pads, and they'll be hitting them and just making sure that he secures it all week in practice.
One thing, it's been Dan Orlovsky does a lot of breakdowns, and he has been very glowingly about Josh and Drake. And you were talking about base personnel. I always loved when you could, and I think this is something that teams are trying to do, is get teams, or good teams and well-coached teams, into base.
Yep.
Because what does base defense do for the O-lineman? One, there's only a few amount of fronts you can play, right? And you kind of know where your spots are for you and for me. And then on the coverage end, there's only a few coverages they can play in base defense.
Usually teams have 2 coverages.
Yep.
They have whatever zone call they have, and they have probably a man pressure or a lot of times you and I would call it under Tom Sam blitz 1.
Yeah.
That was like a go-to, because the way the game has evolved to so much 11 personnel, or even you might call it 12 light, because these F tight ends are basically big receivers. Yep. Defenses have basically shifted to saying, we're going to play nickel against all those groupings, right? And so that's where they cook up all their different packages. They have multiple coverages. And because a lot of teams aren't getting into true 21 personnel with a real fullback, or even true 12 personnel with 2 legit tight ends, when they put their base defense out there, we're talking about 4 D linemen, 3 linebackers, 4 DBs. They don't have the time to practice it all, because they're practicing so much on their substituted defense that Josh would always come in and be like, look, we're going to try to get them in base defense because we know the 3 things they're going to do. Yeah. It's going to be under Tom, Sam blitz 1. It's going to be over Tom, cover 3, or they're going to have just over double Tom, which these are just fronts with linebackers, cover 2. That's it. That's all they have. And it simplifies what you have to see from the defense. And so now all of a sudden you're a defense, you only have these 3 calls, and they line up in a trips formation that you're not expecting. There's no checking out of them. They don't have any checks. And now that's where you end up with Pop Douglas on the defensive end.
Yeah, which is what Josh does such a great job of. And when you can play like that, it makes you confident up front. Mm-hmm. All right, let's get into the big talking point, I guess, of this week, which I don't know how this has gotten blown up. But here we are, Clapgate. Clapgate. I guess the Patriots are good. We got another gate, Clapgate. So I think Raheem Morris, in his defense, he was, because I've seen some clips from him press conference, he was getting told what the players told him. And to me, it sounded like the players tried to CYA. You know? That's what I
CYA,
think.
for everybody who doesn't know.
Cover your ass.
There you go.
Yeah.
You know what that made me think of? Do you remember what Bill used to tell us every year? He'd be like, look, don't come to the sideline and tell me they did all these different things. Like, we have the pictures. If you don't know what they did, just say, I don't know. Because if you tell me one thing and I believe you and it's not true, like, that's your ass.
Yeah. Those pictures sometimes for you guys,
yeah.
You could, like, just depending on where the picture got taken, because it would be like you would get the still shot of the actual defense, right? So that you could make adjustments. Yeah. And then you would get, like 2 seconds into the play or something, like a second.
Take another one, yeah.
Yeah. So if they, like, disguise the coverage, it would help you guys. Didn't really do much for the O-lineman. But there would be clips of, like, you maybe getting edged. And Dante would he would rip your ass because you look like you're getting beaten. You would be like, just sitting there taking
questioning your reality.
Well, yeah, you'd just be like, I think I just stoned that guy about 2 yards in the backfield, like, on a bull rush. Like, what are you talking about? But but yeah, so to me, that was the players. They messed up. There was a mistake, and so they tried to find an excuse.
Do you think it was the center who's like, I heard someone clapping?
Yeah, I think because Dahlman was there last year, and he's not there. So
after all, we are the quick snap, and we're the ones who have to control the snap. Can we just explain to the people how and when would a quarterback ever clap to get the ball?
So the only times we would ever do this, I'm not going to say the word because I did that the other week and figured that was not good. We would have a call if we got into, like, that formation, a funky formation, right? And let's say we got into that formation with, Pop in the backfield and, like,
someone was uncovered.
Jack Westover was uncovered. There would be a call that the quarterback would want the ball, just throw it to him quick. We did it we did it a couple times, but one I always remember because it was my first start and we practiced it and I was like, this is never coming up. And it came up week 1. We played the Steelers and we did something with Gronk. He was wide open. We did it. But, like, we called that situation, and Tom, sometimes you're not expecting it because you go up to the line with the snap counts, this whole process. He'd just be like, ball, 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 because he wanted it to get it out there. Yeah. And it really didn't matter if you messed up your block because it was a quick pass.
Or the other situation is you're on the road, you're in a silent cadence.
Play clock
usually
down.
In every offense, and we've heard, I guess I'll go with the most notable because he made a whole business out of it, Omaha set go with Peyton Manning. So every offense has what we would call like an alert word that no matter what we said the cadence was on in the huddle, on 1, on 2, fake cadence, if we said the word, we want the ball snapped. Well, on the road and you're in silent, you're not using the words. And so let's say I got out of the huddle late, I'm getting people lined up, the play clock's running down, and David's waiting for me to lift my knee, and he's not looking, and I want the ball. I'm going to clap.
That happened to us one time in Buffalo. We got a funky blitz pressure, and Tom had changed the protection, so I was already looking between my legs, looked up. We were changing the protection, play clock's going down, and I'm still up there communicating with the O-line, and, and I knew, look, just go. One thing I will say, this is my big proponent of always having your center look on the silent cadence. They were using the right guard. The ball got snapped. He was not ready. That Milt Williams went through. There we are. So when you do the center, he always knows when the quarterback wants the ball because I'm looking at him.
But how does that work for you? Okay, you see the defense, now your head's between your legs, you're waiting for us. Like, now you look back up, the picture could have changed.
When you don't have Joe Tooney or Ted Karras or Shaq Mason next to you, it's a lot harder.
Yeah.
If we're going to talk snaps, I do have one question. Like, how much does a loud stadium and loud fans on the road, say you're in Kansas City, actually affect the snap count? Can you not hear the quarterback sometimes?
We have, even in Buffalo, backed up under center, we could not use a snap count.
So you're using silent.
I could hear him, but the tackles and tight end could not hear the snap count. So we would even under center use a silent cadence.
I mean, Danny, there's times where you're calling a play in a huddle where the quarterback is literally screaming at the top of his lungs in the huddle, and guys are like, "What? What is it?" So we always had, and New England honestly was only one of the places I did a silent count from under center. Now, granted, we kind of got away from it later.
It would be. It's like even in Buffalo, like I said, we were backed up when we used it, or like right on the goal line, maybe. Yeah, but you're right, Hoyd. Like a lot of like road games, like loud, like Buffalo, Kansas City, I would get in and like, my voice and I'm more exhausted. I'm not talking as much as you guys are, but I am exhausted from screaming, blocking combinations and communicating. That's, it's a great feeling, especially when you win, but you are spent in your head. Your head is like ringing from screaming and yelling.
And Danny, like, this is how deep it got because of the continuity with Josh and Tom. When we would script the plays for road games, like third down plays, we would go over the call sheet and we get to third down and we would literally script in what silent cadence we're going to use because we had like 5 different silent cadences from the shotgun. We had one that was quick, you had one that was a pause, you had one that was a normal time, you had one where it was a double, like, and you had to figure those out based on if there was a shift, if there was a motion, and so like the intricacies of figuring out which ones we had to use, and then we would practice them all week.
But that's why Tom always wanted the center to control it, so he could time up a motion. When you're trying to time up a motion and you got to relay to the guard's got to tap to the center's got to wait a second for the guard it can mess up the timing. So really the Patriots weren't doing. Jalen Hawkins had no impact on the snap of the football.
He's literally trying to get Carlton Davis's attention because they're going from 2x2 to 3x1, which especially in that bunch formation, you have to get some type of call made with the corner, whether it's a box, whether it's a lock and combo, whatever it might be. He's trying to communicate. There's no way. Can you just say this once and for all for the people out there that you as a center would hear the safety 14 yards away clapping and think, oh, the quarterback wants the ball?
No, I might hear it. I'm never thinking he would want the ball. The last thing before we get into our dependable player.
I'm kind of happy that we got to.
You guys got real excited talking
it's
snaps
a quick
right
snap
there.
podcast.
Well,
we just talked about
I didn't think it's going to go that far.
No, because first of all, you know what really pisses me off?
Let's hear it.
These damn colleges.
Okay, well, did you see the clip? John Gruden does his great QB camp.
Yeah, he hates it.
He hates it, because John Gruden's a football coach.
And Jackson Dart, he's like,
coach.
Gruden's like, show me your snap count, and Dart stands up.
Now, it's okay that Kirby Smart and Mike Bobo use the clap.
Love Kirby. Go Dogs.
They can keep using the clap. But the last interesting key point, I think we need to wrap this game up before the dependable player of the game, Kayshon Boutte. I think this is going to be a big injury. And not big injury in the sense of he's going to be out 8 weeks. I'm just talking about the impact he's had on the offense and not having him out there. And to me, I don't know if it's Kyle Williams, but I saw a slant route they ran and the ball was behind him. The way Drake's played and how accurate and good he's been, I'm putting that on Kyle Williams and not Drake Maye. So, I don't know how you feel about that. You played the position, but it would be like if when I saw Tom miss somebody on a throw like that, I'd be like, man, the receiver, I'd never even question it. It could have been Tom's fault, but
it's because it's Tom Brady.
Yeah.
No, I think, look, Boutte is definitely the deep threat in this offense. There's no doubt about it. He's had a bunch of the plays where he's gone downfield, whether it was the post a few weeks ago, whether it was the double move against the Browns, whatever it was. So that element of offense was kind of missing after he went out. I think the one thing you're going to see, imagine how many reps do you think Kyle Williams is getting?
Not a lot.
He's not getting a lot of reps, right? Because they got Boutte, they got Diggs, they got Pop, they got Mac Hollins. He's the 5th receiver probably to get a lot of those reps. With Boutte nursing this injury, he's going to get more practice reps. I'm sure they're actually going to probably design a few plays that take advantage of his speed. And so I wouldn't be shocked if if Boutte's out, which I haven't seen an injury report yet where he's going to be.
No, it'll come out tomorrow.
I would imagine that Kyle Williams will be a little more prepared this week, a little more heavily involved, and we could see him start to maybe have a Travion Henderson shift where each week he gets a little bit more. So
Efton
Chisholm, yeah, it's possible. I mean, that really doesn't replace Boutte. That's the only thing. To me, Kyle Williams can be a vertical threat because of his speed, and so
fair.
That's why I would say you probably would think you'd see Kyle Williams a little bit more. Before we get to the dependable player, I did want to hit on that interception because I did see some people on social media, particularly Savage, who's a good follow, has a lot of good stuff about the Patriots, and he was saying, Hunter on the seam has to turn his head. But the reality was that wasn't a seam. A seam is a route that you want to get to 2 yards inside the top edge of the numbers. What Hunter's running on that is what we call a middle read. And so if it's two high safeties, it's going to look a lot like the pass that Drake hit to Austin Hooper a few weeks ago. Down the middle, he kept it thin. It was a two high safety. Last week against the Falcons, they played a single high coverage, but what they did on the snap, the weak side linebacker, the Will, and the weak safety who was down rotating, they exchanged responsibilities a little late, and Hunter sees the post safety, and Drake sees that Will kind of scoot out. He's like, man, it just opened like the Red Sea. I'm going to hit Hunter here quick. But Hunter sees the safety now coming to take that linebacker's job. And he's like, I got to get across and get in front of the safety. So his eyes are not turned around. And I've run that play before, and I've tried to attempt the same throw Drake made, and I'll never forget Josh being like, look, he's never going to turn his eyes that quickly when he's running to the backside and there's a hook player there waiting for him. So it's one of those things where you feel something pop, and you can almost see it in Drake's feet on that play. He's like, man, it's wide open. I'm going to give it to him. Now it's Sales. Hunter's not looking. It's a miscommunication, and I think the one thing that we'll say between those two players, you ain't going to see that ever happen again,
no.
Right? They're going to talk it over, but I think it's important to realize Hunter doesn't have a seam on that play. He has a middle read, and he's doing the right thing. Drake's seeing something. Now they'll talk it over and say, okay, when that happens next time, we'll make sure we're on the same page. Like, I'm not going to throw you into a blow up because I understand if you're running across, I'm not going to throw you the ball until you get to that backside hash.
Yeah. No, that's a good point.
Can I say something as a fan before we get into the next segment?
I can't wait to hear it, Danny.
It's pretty damn good feeling to come out with a win and talk about, across the Boston media sports networks, everyone's saying how we played bad. Drake didn't have his best game. Last 5 years, we don't win football games if we don't play our best football.
No,
so it feels pretty good to not play our best football and win football
And can
games.
I just say something? That Atlanta defense is real.
Legit
deal.
That was the best quarterback performance against them all year, what Drake Maye did to those guys.
Look, this is an Atlanta team that could be in the playoffs. Like,
They won't. But they're good.
They could.
They're
You
good.
just never know. And look, the thing is, too, if you want to do the week-to-week thing in the NFL, you're going to go crazy.
Oh, we need to talk about that. Go ahead, and then I want to talk about, because did you see what Vrabel did when they asked him about the schedule?
Oh, that was great. But the week-to-week, so the Falcons get blown out by the Panthers. They beat the Bills. They get blown out by the Dolphins. Like,
They beat the Packers.
they beat the Pack. Like, yeah,
Green
it's just
Bay.
like you're like, you can't keep track of it. You're going to be delusional. The only thing that matters in the NFL, and look, I do think some of the teams are separating, and it's going to continue to separate as the year goes on, right? Like,
That's how it goes.
when does football start, Hoy?
After Thanksgiving.
So really, that's when it's going to start to separate, those last few weeks. And it is what it is. Go to Vrabel's thing.
I thought it was great. I don't know who asked the question. I think it was on WEI, and literally the guy sounded like Danny. He's like, I mean, your schedule's been a joke. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, boy, I can't wait for Mike to respond to this. As soon as that guy said, your schedule's been a joke, like Vrabel had any control over what the NFL schedule was given to the Patriots.
Yeah, he's the athletic director.
Yeah, like this isn't Ohio State, putting on the schedule UAB as an early prep game.
Yeah,
Like,
here's $2 million for you
these
to
are the
get blown
NFL
out.
teams, and as you just pointed out, Carolina 1 week is beating whoever. The next week-
Carolina's above 500.
right, and so to me, and I tweeted this out, like the only thing you can control are the controllables, and that's who you're playing that week.
Oh.
Did you ever? And I know how I feel about this. Did you ever go into a game and be like, this is a cakewalk in the NFL ever?
No, and that's the thing that's different. Even like playing in the SEC, like you play in the SEC. I'm biased, so I obviously think it's the best conference. Now that's changing a little bit with everything that's going on. But let's go back. Like it was a dominant conference, but in reality, you were only playing like NFL players at your position like 3 times a year, maybe. Right. Like, dude, you could play the Jets have 1 win. 1 in what, 8? Play
Yes.
or 1 in 7. You play the 1 in 7 Jets, and now this has changed, but they still have Quinn Williams over there, and that's a bad son of a
They
gun.
still got Jermaine Johnson over there.
Yeah,
like
the Titans still got Jeffrey Simmons sitting there.
Right.
Like every week is a dogfight. So
And so, like, to Vrabel's point, like, this isn't college where you get a few
No.
tune-ups where, I was at Michigan State, we're playing Eastern Michigan. Like, this is the NFL.
Yeah.
You don't get to decide your schedule. You got to play who's on the schedule. And you're not going to apologize that you're 7-2 with the schedule that you have. And you're going to go and prepare each week to win, because if you don't, you'll get your butts beat.
I mean, look, here's the deal. They played the Steelers. Steelers are at the top of their division.
The Steelers beat the Colts.
Yeah, and we lost those Steelers. Played the Bills. Panthers are above 500.
Yeah, they're 5-4.
Yeah, Panthers are above 500. Playing the Bucs this week. They're the top of that division. Like, it's not like every team we're playing is 1-7. So
you know what game scares me now?
Baltimore.
Yeah.
But
their defense is coming along. They got some of their guys that were injured back, including Lamar. Is that game in Baltimore or is that here?
It's Baltimore, isn't it?
It's in Baltimore, I think.
It's a tough place to play, too.
I just think it's ridiculous. You had an easy schedule last year, and we couldn't get it done either.
Right.
So
we had a hit on that.
It's time for the FW Web Dependable Player of the Game. At FW Web, people and relationships come first, and you can always depend on FW Web to find the right products and solutions for your next project. Here's the player the Patriots counted on to bring home the win. It's none other than Pop Douglas, 4 catches, 100 yards, and a TD. And obviously want to send out our thoughts and prayers to his family. He said his uncle was, killed the night before the game. So super emotional for him. Respect the way he went out there and conducted himself and handled business. But look, I think we all believe Pop could have this kind of effect on the offense. It just took him a little while. And you've seen him really come on in the last few weeks.
What I love about Pop is, when things weren't really clicking for him personally, catching the football early in the season, what was he doing? He was blocking his butt off, right? Making blocks down the field to make sure people got in and would score. And the one thing that I always thought about Pop was, having watched him play here last year and the last few years, he doesn't really fit the traditional slot model of what this. And I thought it was funny when Josh, when Julian, we were both there at Julian's Hall of Fame induction, he kind of said, like, what the slot is in this offense is a little bit different than what we might consider the slot in a lot of other offenses, right? And what Pop, I think, is really good at is, and I know he's not the tallest, but he gets into the defense and gets vertical. And then at the top of those routes, he has that really good shake. And so you've started to see him actually become a guy that they're throwing the ball down the field to more, right? Some of these deep passes. Obviously, the one out of the end zone, the backfield for the touchdown was an incredible scheme, but you see him race past that defensive end a few times now. And I know they didn't hit it in this game, but they hit it in the New Orleans game. They do the half roll with Drake, and he goes and he's going to run the flag, and then he goes across to the post. And so he's actually, for being a shorter receiver, he's kind of a long strider, but he has some quicks. And so it's just been a little bit of figuring out what his role was going to be, because what I would consider like the old Julian slot routes, you've seen Diggs run a lot of those routes, a lot of those underneath juke routes and some of those option routes. And Pop has become more of what I would consider like the F receiver in this offense, where you can have him outside, you can get him vertical down the field. And obviously when you catch 4 balls for 100 yards, you're averaging 25-yard a pop. So
pretty good, I'd say.
Really good. And the thing that I love about this entire receiver room, they cheer for one another, right? Yeah. They don't care who gets it. If it's one week it's Pop, the next week it's Diggs, the next week it's Booty, the next week it's Mac Hollins. If this week it's Kyle Williams, I'm sure they'll all be thrilled, right? And so they have a really good room. So I'm happy for Pop, especially under the circumstances that he played the game with. I can't imagine getting that news and, going out there and playing a football game. And so he was tremendous. I love the one deep one where, he had the longest fall of the season.
Yeah, you think, is that a new stat?
Longest fall?
Stumble bum.
That was the stumble
bum yards.
We used to do that drill. You weren't a part of it, but we literally had a drill that we would work for ball security. And it really simulated that. You'd carry the ball, and every 3 steps you'd have to touch the ground with your left hand while someone was trying to punch it out.
You want to know what I thought about when you guys were usually doing those drills?
What were you doing? That's the first
I would be in hell with Dante Scarnecchia, just fighting our asses off.
And we'd be brother-in-law and each other.
And you guys would be going one at a time, jogging, messing around, and I'm over there, I don't even have asthma, looking for an inhaler from, Jim Whalen. So
On jobs large and small across 16 disciplines, FW Web has the selection, in-stock inventory, expertise, solutions, and people to get the job done right. For more than 150 years, FW Web has been the trusted partner for professionals across the Northeast, delivering what you need when and where you need it. Because at FW Web, they believe relationships, trust, and dependable service matter. FW Web, where every customer counts.
But no, look, like we said, it was messy. It was dirty. The most important thing, they won the game and they finished the game.
Yep.
And
yeah, I mean, talk about for a subpar performance, what they do when they needed to win, they put the ball in Drake's hand, gets it to Hunter Henry. It's a first down. You're taking a knee. Best formation in football. Best play call in football.
Defense, huge stop in the game too.
Huge stop.
Yeah,
huge stop.
Huge stop.
We haven't talked a lot about the defense. They've just got to figure out a way. Now, they did stop Bijan Robinson, right? Like
under 50 yards. No running back has had 50 yards this year.
On the defense.
And Bijan's unbelievable.
He is. And so, there was just some of those plays where I'm like, can we just put our best corner on their best receiver and see what happens? So it'll be interesting this week, going to the Tampa with Emeka Egbuka.
Oh, that was not it.
Well, we'll get into Tampa in a minute. Right?
He didn't pronounce. That sounded like Gronk.
Emeka Egbuka? That's it?
Emeka Egbuka.
Emeka Egbuka. It's not Amiki Egbuka like our boy Gronk tried to do on Fox.
I'm just going to let y'all do that. I messed up
Trayvion's
name this
first
week.
4 weeks.
For 8 weeks, yeah.
I messed it up.
And it also felt good. You know what? Cardi B's in the stadium. We got that energy. We got Drake and Will Campbell front row courtside of the Celtics last night. There's just a new energy.
Freaking blood.
There's a new energy.
What do you think Cardi B and RKK were talking about up there?
He's deep in the rap game. Isn't he friends with Meek Mill?
Yeah, Meek used to be in the locker room all the time. All right, that brings us to this week's legendary moment presented by Miller Lite. What?
You go, Hoy.
Oh, all right. I see you bringing one in. Little cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
Those are beautiful looking cans.
Yeah, hey, these are the 50th anniversary, I think.
Look at those things.
This wasn't a legendary moment.
Legendary stories always start with the light. Here's the 50 years of Miller time. And this week's legendary moment is Tom Brady's return as a Buccaneer to Foxborough 2021.
Tough night. I don't know. I never thought I would see that night. Yeah.
I mean, you saw it on the schedule. You knew it was coming, but it was surreal.
I was even so delusional because it was in that 19 Super Bowl, or I guess it would have been the year 20 Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
Where he did was it Hulu maybe? Mm-hmm. Did the commercial of him in Gillette. Now, we were at a friend's house watching the game, and my wife's like, he's leaving. I was like, no. I'm delusional talking myself into it. Like, he's in Gillette. They wouldn't let him do that if, I don't know. I just never thought I'd see this day, and here it was. Look, it was an interesting game. I thought really I was like concerned because I was like, dude, this dude might be like he is already really good, but there might be something different about him tonight, and it might be 50-0 at halftime. Yeah. But no, we played really well. I think we had a pretty good football team that year. Mac was starting to come into his own and play really well. Had a chance to win the game late, and I think it was a fourth down. The ball got tipped, and couldn't convert, get into field goal range to try to win the game.
I just remember the emotion of the night, and for those who don't know, usually the visiting team will always come out a little bit earlier than the home team because they got to go back to the locker room a little earlier because they come out a little earlier, and so I really wanted to be out there when Tom came out just to get the feel of the stadium. And Mac and I, when the New England quarterbacks would come out of the light tower end zone and we run the length of the field. And we did that when Tom was here. And we just kept that tradition when Mac was here. And as he and I were getting to the tunnel where we were about to come out, it felt like there was an earthquake. And, then I came to realize that's when Brady was coming out. And it was a pretty unique reception I think he got. There was nothing but love. But once the game started,
a lot of boos.
I was going to say, to start, there was nothing but love.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. I agree, Danny, which I think is the right way to go about it.
Yep.
Like, give him his flowers and pre-game, kick off, you can kiss our ass. We still love you, but you can kiss our ass.
100%. And I was in that stadium loud.
What did you
booing.
feel, Danny? Like, because it's harder, me and Hoy, our feelings and reactions. Right. How did you feel?
I mean, look, I'm the biggest Tom guy in the world. I was wearing a Tom Brady Bucs jersey in the stadium, but I thought that I was going to cheer for him the whole time, and I thought I wanted him to do well.
But you were cheering for Mac Jones.
I was cheering for Mac Jones. Yes, I was. As soon as that game started, I was booing my ass off, screaming at Tom.
Did you take the jersey off?
I took it off. Okay. I was shirtless in the stadium for 3 hours, and it was pouring rain.
It was a rainy night.
Yeah,
I'll
send you the
good
pictures.
Football weather.
It was. I remember talking to Tom after the game. He's like, "Of course it rains again in New England." He's like, "I'm down in Florida now. It's good weather."
That's what you get, asshole.
No, that was surreal, and I'll say this, and I don't know if you remember this. It took me an hour to get from the players' lot just to get to Route 1 after the game. I've never seen anything like it. It was like everybody came and stayed. It obviously was an entertaining game.
I don't go that way.
There's no secret players' road?
There is, but not for where I was going. And usually, little known fact, I used to get up Route 1 and cut through the McDonald's and go the back roads. But honestly, it didn't even matter. It took me from the players' lot to get to Route 1. The parking lot was stop and go. Like, no one was going anywhere. It was incredible.
And it was Sunday Night Football, right?
I think it was a 4:00 game.
No, it was night game.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, it was Sunday Night Football.
Sunday Night Football, I think.
I didn't know if it was one of those dark,
It was dark.
4 games. Yeah. No, it was incredible. I think, and honestly, this week
Kind of makes me sick.
This week,
I have a question.
Yeah.
I have a question because we're talking about it. Tom, he goes on to win the Super Bowl.
Cool.
Tom or Bill?
I'll say this. This is what I'm going to say about it. The player always has the last stroke of the pen because he's on the field. And I think what happened with Tom, he took 20 years of experience here playing and learning, and he went to Tampa, and they were a talented team. And what he was able to do, what Bill was not able to do, was step on the field and impact the game immediately.
Yeah.
That's what I would say is as the player, you always have more effect on the outcome than the coach.
I would say this, and this is a different scenario, but I thought about it when I got asked this week. I got asked, is this more of Drake's development or is this more Josh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, to say it's all on Drake, it's just his development. He's gotten that much better. That discredits all the time,
Right.
effort, energy Josh McDaniels has put into this year. To say it's all of Josh and Drake could have done this last year with Josh, I think is a discredit to
What the work that Drake's put in.
yeah that he's put in. So, look, it's a team game no matter what. And at the end of the day, Tom was such a big factor in what we did. And I do think Tom and Bill collided at perfect timing.
Oh.
And
I don't know if there was a player that would have been able to handle
no,
Bill better than how Tom handled it.
no. And look, and I don't know. I hate saying, that it's such a team game and you need everyone. And that means the coaches, that means the training staff, the weight room staff, the GM scouting staff. That's why everyone gets a ring.
Mm-hmm.
And so, look, like you said, I think you said it so well. Like, he has the final stroke because he's on the field. And, when you take him and put him somewhere else, I think most places he would have gone, talented teams, he would have won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, because I think that's what you have to realize. What Tom took with him to Tampa, he took everything that he had from that experience with Bill and then basically went there and implemented it on Tampa Bay. And it took a while, right? Remember?
Shaq told me, he was like, dude, this dude's like running this thing like it's Bill.
Exactly. And
Because it worked.
Because he knew it worked. He had a high standard. And I think, look, we can debate this as long as we want. They're both going to be in the Hall of Fame. They're both going to be there at each other's induction ceremonies. Like, it is what it is. I would just say, because Tom left and had that success, it's because he was able to be on the field. Like, Bill could still coach the same way, but he didn't have Tom Brady playing quarterback for him anymore.
No,
I agree with you guys. I was just trying to get under your skin a little bit. And
I know you
Get
were.
under my skin.
It's a team game. It was both of them, but Tom winning a Super Bowl with Tampa Bay was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Miller Lite just isn't any light beer. It's the original light beer. And when Miller Lite arrived 50 years ago, time became Miller time, and fun nights became stories worth telling. Miller Lite, celebrating 5 decades of legendary moments. Because legendary stories start with a light.
All right. I mean, we just talked about a legendary matchup between the Bucs and the Pats a few years ago. This one's kind of been circled on our schedule. Every week we sit here and be like, man, are they going to win the next 3 games, 4 games, 2 games to when they get to Tampa for this showdown. I think it's a great litmus test for where the Patriots are. It's going to be on the road. You're playing a team that's going to make the playoffs more than likely. Baker is playing out of his mind, another MVP candidate. So it's going to have a lot of hype. They got the big boys on the call, Jim Nantz and Tony Romo. So you know the Patriots are back.
We're back
when you get those guys calling a game.
Yeah, I think the one thing about the Bucs that I would say big picture is most impressive. The team knows how to win. Mm-hmm. And they can win ugly. And I feel like the way the quarterback plays, the belief the team has in him, some of the stuff you see this guy do is really impressive. And, I think they are a team that's played really well together, and played for a while together, and I'm interested to see. It's going to be, there's going to be some elements to this game. We haven't really played in some heat. It's going to be a little warm down there. It's getting cool up here. So that's, always changes the dynamic, hot, humid. And look, I really think this is a great measuring stick for this football team. This is a good football team they're about to play, a team that knows how to win, like I said. And, it's another team you do not know. You don't play these guys. You get into your division games. You kind of played these teams a little bit, and obviously, the Jets have a new coaching staff, and that's going to be different than it's been in years past. But, geez, Hoy, you're getting old. It's past your bedtime, huh?
I used to record at 8:40, and now I'm usually getting the dogs outside.
Sky.
Getting things settled in.
You got this, old man. You got this.
Huh?
I said you got this, old man.
No, I think you're right, David. I think this is a great test for them to go down on the road and play a team that, was in the playoffs last year, has really picked up where they left off. Now, the one thing I would say, you're getting them coming off the bye week. So they had a chance to, one, do a self-scout, see where they want to improve, see the things they're doing really well, the things they want to improve on, but also get some guys healthy, right? We don't know what Bucky Irvine's status is going to be. We don't know if Godwin's going to be Irving.
Yes.
Damn.
I got you, David.
Yes.
I got
Bucky,
you.
Irving.
You
And
said that. I was like,
see
that
what their
don't sound
status is, but the thing that I'm looking forward to most is this Patriots offense against the Todd Bowles defense, which is historically, Bowles is what you might call battleship football. We talked about this earlier. B2 hit. Now you're back, 12 yards. A7 miss, and all of a sudden it's a 50-yard gain. The one thing I would say, this is a game where you're glad you have Josh McDaniels preparing the game plan, calling the plays, because what was Thursday for us? A big day. What did we go over to the side and do when they were doing special teams? Blitz pickup. And so Thursday is going to be huge for the Patriots this week. Todd Bowles has those big blitz packages. He could literally bring a blitz zero in the middle of the second quarter on the 30-yard line.
Todd Bowles was with the Jets in 15, right?
Yep.
So we played them our first of the 2 divisional games. He blitz zeroed us 18
Just kept bringing it
times.
And for those who people don't know, blitz zero is, what is that in Madden? Like engage 8, Danny?
Engage
when you just blitz everybody. And for offenses, you usually would assume a defense might bring that in the red area, the low red area, a certain situational. When a team just randomly does it on a second down in the middle of the you're like, what? And so you're not always prepared for it. And so I'm sure Josh is saying, look, we got to have our antennas up all week. You have to be ready for Bowles to blitz. And because they've gotten some sacks against them the past few weeks, I would imagine Bowles is going to come out and test their pass protection right away.
Yeah, and so it's going to be, it's going to be a challenge. I like the Bucs defense. I think they're a good defense. I don't know. This is where I said not to do this, right? Do the week-to-week thing. Mm-hmm. And now I'm sitting here doing it in my mind. I'm like, well, they didn't play that, but they could come out and play good. What is your opinion coming off the bye week for the Bucs?
I mean, some teams are better off the bye than others.
I know, it's so
some teams come out a little lazy.
Some days I hated it.
I don't know if you feel this way, but depending on when you had that bye week, like getting out of football mode almost made it harder to get back.
I think when it's late, it's really hard to get back into it because
the Pats are week 14 this year.
Yeah, I know, but I hate that.
It's like one of those things. Like did we talk about this a few weeks ago? Like when do you want to have your bye week, or was that?
I don't think so.
Like
I like it dead middle.
Dead middle is obviously great, but if you're a team that's going to make a run and you get it later, it could be a good thing because you kind of look at it like, we know we're going to have an extra month of football. Like if we can get it in December, which like the Patriots have, it can get you rejuvenated to be like, all right, you know, Bill would always say like, you're going under, you're diving under, you're not going back up for air for a while. Like,
I think once I got after November, I really just like to be in the suck. And just be no air.
Yeah.
What do you guys do on a bye week? Do players, everyone go on vacation, go to Florida, be with their families, or are there people in the facility?
Before the rule change, Bill would keep you here as long as he could, so you couldn't do anything.
Yeah, and he wouldn't tell you when you were going to get out, really, so you had no idea. It was hard to plan. Early in my career, we would sometimes try to go home. We'd fly home on, like, late, we'd get out a lot of times Wednesday night, sometimes Thursday. We'd fly home late that night. I'd probably go deer hunt for a day and just hang out for but then it was like Sunday, you were like, all right, well, we got to get home, and then older in my career, we really, with kids, we wouldn't go anywhere. Like you got 3-4 days off. Like we maybe would go to like Maine, like for
to Vermont one time.
Yeah. Like something local for like a quick little weekend, but yeah, I don't know. Some bye weeks can be really good, and they can also, I feel like, sometimes just disrupt your rhythm.
Yeah, I don't know the stats on it all, but like sometimes I feel like teams come out a little sluggish off the bye. Sometimes teams can come rejuvenated. And look, the Patriots are going to get a little mini bye after the Thursday night game. So
I love Thursday night.
Yeah, you hate it leading up to it. As soon as it's over, you're like,
this is awesome.
This is incredible. But one day, one game at a time. I really like the Patriots' chances. I really do. I think.
Oh yeah.
I think one thing you can do to really slow down that Bulls defense is to have a running game, and I think Trayvon's coming along. I like what Terrell Jennings did last week. Got his first touchdown. He kind of adds a bruiser mentality. Do some of that. Get some play action passes. Settle them down, and ultimately, I think Vrabel is going to come up with, and Zach Core, they're going to come up with a good scheme to try to get pressure on Baker, but also keep him in the pocket, because Baker is one of those guys where he can make plays outside of the pocket. So very much so. Like what the Falcons did to Drake Maye last week, I'd like to see the Patriots do to Baker Mayfield this week.
Yeah, and I hope to see the defense get out after the offensive line of the Bucs.
Yeah.
They're banged up. Let's get after them. Got to just try to make it hard on Baker, get him uncomfortable, which I think is a hard thing to do. Mm-hmm. He does well with adversity. So, like I said, I think they should have a fire under their ass this week coming out to practice, knowing like, hey, we won the game, but we can be a lot better. So that's what I'm hoping for, and I think you'll see the fruits of those labors this week on Sunday.
Yeah, I think it's similar to what we talked about with that Buffalo. If you love football, this is where you want to be Sunday. Is it still Raymond James Stadium? Is that what they still call it?
Yeah.
Yeah, like be there. Like this is, to me, it can be, I don't know with the other games, but I don't know if there's any more intriguing game than this one.
No, you think Romo pumps Drake up like he does some of these other quarterbacks?
100%.
I hope so.
Me too.
Be good to hear.
I mean, the Bucs are favorites. We shouldn't win this.
What's the spread here?
2.5. So we're
how do they come up with that?
You're so new to betting, but that's a good line. So, I mean, the Pats are plus 2.5 for underdogs.
Is it because it's at Tampa Bay?
Yeah,
like that's
every home team is automatic 3 points pretty much.
Do you feel do you feel like that translates to like automatically being the favorite just by playing at home?
No, not favorite. You get 3 points though. So, like if the Carolina Panthers. Yeah, you don't understand betting lines at all. So if the Carolina Panthers...
No, we couldn't even think about it.
Is this like handicaps in golf?
Yes, exactly.
But if you said they get 3 points, then they're favorites.
They get 3 points off the spread. So here you think about it. Say the Jets come to New England.
I don't even care. Until we get sponsored by DraftKings, you can explain.
These guys, man.
Okay.
Well, just my point here, we shouldn't win this football game. And if we lose, I'm not going to go scorched earth and say, dude, we're done.
I know. And I think, like, this is where we're at. The Patriots are 7-2. So
we have like the best chance to make the playoffs.
I saw that.
NFL.
What was that? I sent that to you guys.
Biggest lock.
Yeah, because and I'm gonna contradict myself right now, but after the Jets basically traded away all their best players, we still have them on the schedule twice. Granted, one of them's a Thursday night game, and you got to go handle business. But go handle your business against Tampa Bay. And then have a short week and beat the Jets at home on Thursday Night Football.
And I'll see you in San Fran.
We booked the tickets, David. Shadow line card.
Will you put them in your top 3 then? In your
yes,
rankings?
They beat the Bucs.
If we book them through Delta, we'll definitely get a refund. It's way too early.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I think United flies.
But if we win this football game, it is go time.
I'll connect in Atlanta.
All right, I love it.
All right, Hoy. A little bit around the league talk. Obviously, the big matchup of the week, I would say, is the new NFL rivalry, the Chiefs-Bills.
Yeah.
Now, Bills won. Looks like the Bills are really starting to hit their stride, which I'm excited for. I feel like the Bills always beat the Chiefs, though.
In the regular season. I know. I was on the Up and Adams show with Kay Adams the other day, and she asked me, like, who's better, Mahomes or Allen? And it's so hard for me because I hate when you have to put these rankings and
the only thing that matters is championships.
That's so I said, look, I love Josh Allen. I'm a big proponent of him. Even being here in New England, I'm not afraid to say it. I think he plays the game in the right way, an incredible talent, but Mahomes has got the rings. And it's not even Josh's fault that they haven't been able to get past them in those games in the playoffs. I mean, the year that we lost to the Bills in the playoffs, Max rookie year, 2021. Josh Allen in that game and then the next week in that Kansas City game that went to overtime, those were two of the best performances a quarterback has ever made in the playoffs, and he lost the game. And so it's not on him, but they do seem to own that matchup in the regular season. The way they kind of mush rush Mahomes, they made him hold the ball. And I'll say this: Patriots did a good job of playing against the Buffalo Bills. So it goes to show you they can beat anybody.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Chiefs are struggling. It's not, but as long as they have Mahomes, Andy Reid, and Spagnuolo, like, you can't count them out.
Nope.
Like, you will not. And I would say this: because I think right now in the playoff picture we host the Chiefs. Is that correct?
I don't think the Chiefs aren't even in the playoff
picture.
picture.
Jaguars if it started.
They're like the 8. They're 8 right now.
Yeah, they're 8. Jaguars are 7.
Yep.
Who you guys want to play in the playoffs? Jaguars or Chiefs?
The Jags.
Who do you guys want to play?
The Chiefs are still, if we're going to talk draft, or we're going to talk sports books here, the Chiefs are the Super Bowl favorites on the sports book.
Aren't the Ravens don't they have like a good chance of making the playoffs too?
They're the favorites to win their division, and they're down 2 games to the Steelers.
Even after the Steelers beat Indianapolis?
Yeah, they're the favorites.
But they haven't played the Steelers yet, have they?
No, they play them twice more, and obviously Lamar's back.
But don't the Steelers always do really good against Lamar?
I don't know the data.
I'm pretty sure last year I remember seeing that.
I mean, divisional game, they know each other well, so I'd imagine. But, yeah, it's interesting. And then what about in the NFC? Carolina Panthers, our blowout win against the Panthers, they beat the Packers this weekend. It looks a lot better.
Yeah.
Jordan Love struggled.
He's such an enigma to me. Like, one week he looks like
I can't figure
the
him
second
out.
coming, and then last week against Drake,
like me out there.
Drake diced up Carolina. Yeah. So like that's the NFL for you. The parity each week is like, who's balling though? A Georgia Bulldog, Matthew Stafford. I think he's in the lead right now for me for the MVP. I mean, I don't know. I
said that a few weeks ago, and you guys
every week.
Did I not say that?
But it changes every week.
You change it every week.
Yeah, because it changes every week.
Did I not say that? And you guys scoffed.
I mentioned
David, you're right. We were like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
Thank you.
I mentioned.
We did, and now he's 4th. So it's Josh Allen's plus 180.
Say what the hell are you talking
Mahomes
about?
No, you guys freaked out. You were like, "You're just biased."
But see, look,
David's correct.
Stafford's actually behind Drake. In the
Yeah.
odds.
Yes.
But
I will
Stafford
say
is
this.
balling, dude.
Devontae Adams, I thought he was kind of like getting washed.
Nah.
Yeah, guys.
I played with him. He wasn't washed.
He played with washed quarterbacks.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Wait, Aaron wasn't washed, was he?
Yeah, he's washed.
He's doing pretty good this year.
I think if you go to the Jets, you just
That's just that's why. Did you see the memes today of like it's like Breece Hall like leaning behind the thing?
Yeah.
Like, can I get traded?
Talk
too?
about
How-
throwing a
how
party
would
getting
you
out of New
feel-
York. That guy's pissed he's still in New York.
yeah. Like, how would you feel as an organization like now have to like see him walk into work on Wednesday?
The two worst teams in the NFL are in our division.
Now I will say this: did you see the amount of draft picks the Jets have over the next 2 years?
Oh, I thought it was a smart move by the Jets.
Dude, they're gonna have like I don't know if we could pull that up. I just saw it before I came in. Like 2 first rounders each year, 2 second rounders each year.
Yeah, but I feel like they did this a few years ago.
Yeah, you still got to hit on them.
Like when they started like I feel like this rebuild with like Jamal Adams I don't know how long that was like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
They got a boatload of picks.
Yep.
And
No, you got to hit on them, and then you got to keep them.
it's not even about hitting on them. You just got to be a competent organization.
I
They
have a
have hit
question.
on some draft picks.
Who would you be more afraid of in the playoffs to go on the road, Indianapolis or Denver?
Denver. Harder to play.
That defense in that place is hard as hell to play.
Sean Payton's a great coach.
Yep.
It's a hard place to play. It's I would say the few times, I went to Denver a couple times in my career, but early in my career, that was Payton's last year, and then they were still pretty good and had a really good defense. That place, the altitude is actually I don't think it's a huge
Didn't you
factor.
almost die there?
Yeah, that's another thing. We're not going to get into that. It almost killed me last year too, I think. But that the altitude does have some effect. Like it's not but you definitely can feel it.
Yep.
And that place gets very, very loud. They got a great fan base. I'd be more scared playing Denver 100%.
Indianapolis, though, they got Sauce Gardner.
I don't.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think Sauce is a good player. I think he was really good in Salah's defense. I think there's a reason that the Jets parted ways with him. Obviously, getting 2 first rounders is part of that. He's got to be he is not Christian Gonzalez, in my opinion. Like Gonzo, I think Gonzo is right there behind Patrick Surtain, right there with Derek Stingley Jr., and right there with J.C. Horn. I think those are the top 4 corners in the league. Sauce is not as physical as those guys. No. He's long, which when you're playing in that solid defense where there's a lot of zone, your eyes can be on the quarterback. You can make a lot of plays. The best corners that I ever played with or against are Darrelle Revis and Stephon Gilmore. And Gonzo reminds me of a combination of those 2 guys. So, I'm not exchanging Gonzo for any of those guys.
Toby's healthy against the Bucs.
Yeah, he said he was good after the game, right?
Yeah, he said he was good. We'll see with
How
the
about
report.
Drake and Will courtside last night?
That was awesome. That's what I was saying. There's just a new energy in New England. It's awesome. It's awesome to see.
There's a lot.
when
You know what it is like, the Red Sox have Roman Anthony. Yeah. They got Marcelo. Is it Mayer or Meyer? Meyer. So you got your 2 young guys there. With the Patriots, you got Gonzalez, you got Drake Maye, you got Will Campbell, you got some of these young guys. Obviously the Celtics have Tatum, which Tatum might be younger than some of those.
I think he's 25, 26.
Well, that's crazy.
I'll say this. When you're winning, you want to be out more. And not out clubbing. I'm not talking about that. But you don't care about going out to dinner and people seeing you. 1, because everyone loves you. 2, you go out, he goes out to the Celtics game, right? Let's say Drake has a bad game on Sunday. Hope not, but I'm just scenarios. Then there's going to be, people that criticize him and oh, it's because you were out at the Celtics.
Sure.
He had an off day today. He was out on Monday night. We used to do stuff all the time on Monday nights. It's when you lose, now people criticize you for that stuff. But when you're winning, everyone loves you.
When you
and they
lose,
love
you kind of want to dig yourself into
when you
win again.
When you're losing, you're kind of just
like the Homer Simpson.
Yeah, back into the bushes. And you do feel as a player and a person, this is the human side of the thing. You are man, you want to take your wife to dinner on a Friday night and you're walking in the restaurant and you're I hope no one knows I'm here, because if something happens on Sunday, human nature is to be like, well, yeah, he doesn't even care. He was out.
But the reality is, like, you can't burn yourself out in every waking moment you have in the season. You spend, like, you have to have some kind of outlet. And obviously, like, for you and I, we were both married young. We weren't out doing any, extracurricular activities. Like, if we took our wives out to dinner. My son's in the room with you right now. Chill out.
Sure.
David had probably more fun than I did.
I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I could imagine that. Well, let's go have fun on Sunday and get a win.
Let's do it.
I like it. All right, y'all. Thank y'all. That's a wrap on the episode. We, been in here for rambling now, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. Check us out on YouTube and NBC Sports Boston, Wednesday at 6. Thanks, guys.